designers and engineers models of tomorrow's airplane, sleek and streamlined creations for the skyways of the future. Jet models for faster speeds and higher altitudes. Designs for supersonic speeds with a disengaging launcher. Cargo models and a detachable belly. Streamlined propeller design and the Ultra in the upswept. At the U.S. Air Force Laboratory, Wright Field, Dayton, Ohio, the ideas are conceived and the dreams come to life in the air. From the drawing boards, table models, research data, performance record, come the experimental models such as the flying wing, looking like a specter from another planet. The great XB-35, of military value in weight and load efficiency, it also has its place in civilian aviation as a cargo and passenger transport to rival the best in performance, utility, and speed. The P-82, with more than double fuel capacity and twin pilot operation, combines speed and distance flying with maneuverability. It takes 3 to 5 years from drawing board to test hop, but here is a huge XB-36 being assembled for its initial test flight. Designed to lift a gross weight exceeding 250,000 pounds, heaviest load ever to be borne aloft, this flying cigar may well be the luxury liner of tomorrow. Aviation's tremendous progress from the days of the Wright brothers is exemplified in the titanic, majestic beauty of the XB-36. The variable pitch propeller, another great development that came out of testing and research. Testing that leads to safety, as when a B-29 Super Fortress is sustained in flight by the use of only one of its 4 mighty motors, the others with feathered props. For safety in landing, the determination of the strain and stress that an aircraft will withstand under various load conditions, the drop testing with ever-increasing pressure until the reaching of the breaking point. The wind tunnel, where simulated wind velocities may be increased to 400 miles an hour, where engineers observe the effect of wind resistance on the wing surfaces. The higher the landing speed, the more a plane's landing gear determines stability. With the advent of high-speed jet propulsion comes the need for new landing gear design, light, flexible, strong. Hence the bicycle-type underpinning, displayed on a 4-motor jet aircraft. The outrigger wheels are only wing-fold balance props, while the main burden of the plane is borne by the center wheels, rigged in tandem bicycle fashion. In striking contrast is the heavy-duty tractor-type landing gear, tested under severe conditions of mud, water, sand, and swamp. Ordinary standard-type wheel assembly would bog the plane down, but the rugged tractor chain does the job, and another problem in all weather, all type landing has been solved. The suspended runway, a plane walking a tight wire, an idea that enables landings in jungle or mountainous terrain where the use of runways is impossible. Fantastic? Well, maybe, but it illustrates the seeking and searching that the Air Materiel Command does with machines and men. Equipment which contributes to the safety of the pilot and revolutionary designs in the parachute. A super-speed bailout demands a chute that will not tear apart on sudden, violent contact with the air. One is the donut chute. The hole in the top is like a safety valve, releasing the excess air pressure that would tear apart an ordinary chute. Another is the ribbon type, seemingly nothing but strips, but the action of the wind overlaps the ribbon, thus forming a solid surface in descent. Something really new has been added to the fine art of bailing out. The Air Force climatic hangar simulates the 50 below temperature of the frozen north. As man in his global flight has brought the polar regions into our own backyard, the testing laboratory now defines the Arctic mechanical needs and decrees what the well-dressed airman must wear to survive, such as the exposure suit. It's not what you'd call a form-fitting cut, but it's roomy and warm. Warm enough, in fact, to enable a pilot forced down in a frigid, wintry sea to remain buoyant and thoroughly alive until he's hauled out of the briny deep. Ah, those research boys, what won't they think of next? Why, next, the Personnel Equipment Lab thought up this novel technique called the human pickup, a device enabling a man set down in trackless jungle to be yanked out of his dilemma without the rescue plane so much as setting wheels on ground or pontoon on water. This also is the principle of the glider pickup, the same technique employed in towing a motorless craft into the air with a tow rope fashioned of nylon. With supersonic speed at fantastically high altitudes, there is posed the question, can human beings live in such phenomenal conditions? Aviation's aeromedical men make exhaustive tests with this ingenious machine called a centrifuge. The camera reveals what happens to a pilot subjected to the extreme centrifugal pressure which draws the blood from his head to cause temporary blackout. In the whirling centrifuge, which looks like a big two-armed merry-go-round, the G treatment, a scientific calibration of stress and strain on the human body. It reveals the pilot's inability to bail out. In a tight spinning dive, he'd be jammed in, unable to prevail against the elemental force. And so, for safety in supersonic flight, testing and research produces the pilot ejecting device for use in bailing out at tremendous speed. The pilot literally must be fired out of his seat. After initial experiments with a dummy pilot comes the jack-in-the-box plane. The airman is encased in the ejector seat for his sojourn among the clouds. There he goes, catapulted into the air. There's a moment of dramatic suspense as he drifts toward the planes that follow. Sky Thrills, starring the men and machines of the Air Force, their frontiers bounded only by the sky.